You know the Olympics, the incredible victories, the devastating defeats. It's an emotional roller coaster. But today, we're going to look past the finish line, beyond the medal counts, and get into the actual philosophy that the entire thing is built on. It's this powerful idea called Olympism, and honestly, it might just change how you see the games forever. So, when you're watching those unbelievable athletes compete, what are you really seeing? Is it just about national pride, about who's the best, or is there something way deeper going on? Well, let's peel back the layers, because it turns out the modern Olympics are built on a really, really old idea. All right, our story kicks off not in some fancy modern stadium, but way back in ancient Greece, in a sacred place called Olympia. This is where it all began, and the reason why might actually surprise you. So get this, the very first ancient Olympic Games were held all the way back in 776 BC. And this wasn't some big global broadcast, it was actually a religious festival to honor the great god Zeus. For over 1,000 years, every 4 years, athletes gathered. But then it all just stopped. In 394 AD, a Roman emperor banned the games, and the Olympic spirit, well, it pretty much just vanished. And the rules back then, whoa, totally different from today. To even get in, you had to be a free-born Greek guy in top physical shape. That meant no slaves, no criminals, and absolutely, positively no women. And the commitment was insane. We're talking 10 months of training, then you had to go live in Olympia for a whole month before the games even started. And the prize? Forget about gold medals. The highest honor was a simple crown made out of an olive wreath. Just let that sink in for a second. For more than 1,500 years, Olympia was quiet. The games were just a memory, a lost piece of history. It really seemed like the world had forgotten all about them. But then, one man had an idea, a huge vision. He didn't just want to restart the games. He wanted to completely reinvent them with a powerful new purpose. And he laid the groundwork for the Olympics we all watch today. This is the guy, Baron Pierre de Coubertin, basically the father of the modern Olympics. He was completely convinced that sports could be this incredible force for good in the world, a way to build bridges and heal divides between countries. For him, it wasn't just about bringing back some old competition, it was about starting a global movement for peace. And this chart just shows you how huge that change was. The whole purpose shifted, from honoring a god to trying to unite nations. The participants went from this super exclusive club of Greek men to athletes from literally all over the world. The prize became the medals we all know. And so importantly, women, who were completely shut out before, were finally brought into the fold. And Coubertin's vision took off pretty fast. He held this big meeting in 1893, and just 3 years later, the first modern games were happening in Athens. Now, only 9 countries showed up, but hey, it was a start. By 1900, women were competing, but this new mission of peace was really put to the test. The games were canceled 3 separate times because of the world wars, which is just a heartbreaking reminder of why that mission was so important in the first place. Okay, so we've got the games back, but what about the philosophy? What are the actual principles that every athlete, and really all of us, are supposed to take away from this whole thing? Well, this is what we call the soul of Olympism. At its heart, Olympism really boils down to 5 key values. And these aren't just, some nice words on a poster. They're meant to be the pillars that hold up the entire movement. So let's break down what each of these really means. First up is joy of effort. And this one is so important. It's the idea that the real win isn't always the gold medal. It's the satisfaction you get from knowing you gave it your absolute all. It's about loving the grind, the discipline, and the incredible achievement of just getting there to compete. Next, you've got fair play. This is basically the ethical backbone of all sports. It's about playing with honesty, respecting the rules, your opponents, the referees, all of it. It's about winning the right way, no cheating, no shortcuts, and keeping the true spirit of competition alive. And that spirit of fairness leads right into the next value, respect for others. I mean, think about the Olympic Village. You have people from every culture, religion, and background you can imagine, all living together. This value is all about treating every single person with dignity, whether they're your teammate or your biggest rival.
Now, pursuit of excellence, it sounds like it's all about being number one, right? But it's actually way more personal than that. It's about the constant drive to be better than you were yesterday. It's not about beating everybody else, it's about becoming the best possible version of yourself and pushing your own limits.
And finally, we have balance between body, will, and mind. This is the idea that you're developing a whole person, not just an athlete. Olympism teaches that a great competitor isn't just physically strong. You also need the mental sharpness to strategize and the pure willpower to never give up. Real success happens when all three of those things are working together. So those are some pretty big ideas, right? And the Olympic movement uses some of the most famous symbols in the entire world to help us see and feel those values. I mean, you know these instantly. You've got the 5 interlocking rings, which Coubertin himself designed to represent the continents coming together. Then there's the motto, Citius Altius Fortius. That's Latin for faster, higher, stronger. And of course, the Olympic flame. It's lit in ancient Olympia and carried all over the world, a beautiful symbol connecting the ancient games to the modern ones. But holding on to these ideals and putting on an event this huge is a massive undertaking. So who's actually running the show? Well, it takes a pretty big global structure. Let's take a quick look at how it all works. You can kind of think of it as a 3-level pyramid. At the very top, you have the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. They're the big boss. They pick the host cities, they make the major rules. Under them, every country has a National Olympic Committee, or NOC. Their job is to manage things back home, picking the athletes and sending the team. And finally, you have the international sports federations, like FIFA for soccer. They manage the specific rules for their individual sport. All three have to work in sync to pull it off. Which really brings us full circle. When we watch the games, we're not just watching sports. We're seeing Coubertin's big idea play out in real time. So I guess the question I'll leave you with is this. In a world that seems to be full of conflict and division, are these Olympic ideals of unity, respect, and fair play, are they more important now than they've ever been before?